Hey guys, welcome to Watchdog Central. Okay, so I just thought I'd make a video today because it's late and all my neighbours are sleeping, so I thought I'd make the video now because it's very noisy during the day, so I tend to make videos at night time. Okay, so what have I been doing today? I decided to go out and get myself a new mountain bike, which is called, it's called an Apollo Slant. Now, the reason I got this bike, I'll show you the bike in 1 second. The reason I got this bike was because it is one of the cheaper brands on the market, but I don't like buying expensive stuff and then leaving it around for some bastard to steal. So it's not that I can't afford an expensive bike, it's just that I've had expensive bikes in the past and I've had them stolen right outside the door from my property. So I thought I'd buy myself a cheap bike, a slightly cheaper bike, and this way, at least if it gets ripped off or gets stolen or I go down to the cinema and it's gone on the way of it. But the bike cost me basically £130, which is very cheap for a mountain bike. I'll show you the mountain bike, so let me just beam it around. I've got it on a tripod, so let me just adjust this. You bear with me for 1 second. If I get it in focus, okay. Right, that's the bike. It's, yes, okay, so it's your typical mountain bike. It's got a 17-inch frame. I got this bike from Halfords. 17-inch frame. It's got 26-inch wheels, and I rode it about 6 miles today, on and off through various places where I live. So I got it from a place a couple miles away from me, rode it back. I went online and I had a look at people putting in sort of like reviews on it. I read lots and lots up on bikes. I know a lot about bikes because I've ridden them for decades when I was younger. I literally haven't been on a bike for like, it must have been 1998 or 99 was the last time I actually got on a bike. So I knew what even though I haven't ridden or rode for over 20 years, about 20 years, I know what kind of bike I was used to back then. This is basically a steel frame. I made sure I got a steel frame and not like a lighter aluminium frame because I like the heavier. This is the heavier bikes. And I read a lot of reviews on it, and a lot of people were bashing on these kind of bikes, especially this model bikes, where they were saying they were having issues with it. Now I've only had it for about 7 hours and I've gone about over 6 miles on it, and I've had not one issue with it. I think once while I was riding it, the chain felt like it dropped on me, but it wasn't. It was just that, you know, I was riding at the time and I probably wasn't cycling when I actually changed gears and it just dropped. But it managed to get back in place, so clearly it didn't drop fully. But yeah. 17-inch frame, 26-inch wheels, and I think it will do the job. I'm gonna probably use it over the next couple of weeks leading up to Christmas. I wanted to get a new bike because I want to get about, and I'm sick of fucking public transport. Public transport does my head in. I'm sick of getting on buses every 5 seconds, and you know, I'm basically in an area where there's a cinema like a 35-minute walk from me, and it's easy for me just to hop on a bike. I could hop on a bike and I could be there in about 9 minutes, where it would take me 40 minutes to walk. And there's literally no buses around the area I'm living in at the moment. To get a bus, I'd have to get 2 buses to get to this place. Yeah, I can get a bike and I'm there in 8 minutes. So this is why I decided to get a bike, because there's lots of places I can't really get to because there's no buses to go in these places. I don't know if it's just a derelict area or something or whatever, but I'll do some reviews over the next couple of months. If I have any problems, I'll let people know about it. If anyone's interested in this model, because I went online and I know there's a few people looking up these kind of bikes and, you know, having issues with them. And if I do have any problems, I will let you know. The guy in the shop did mention that there's some kind of, I think you pay £26 a year or something, and they'll check the bike for you and look in, you know, maybe fix it up in certain areas. you know, maybe something happens with the chain. But you've got like 6 weeks from buying the bike to decide whether you want to take that up. If after 6 weeks you haven't took it up, you lose the opportunity of getting it. But I've done my research. I do know a hell of a lot about bikes from years ago. But let me just take this camcorder out of the tripod. I did get a few little extra bits and pieces. Okay, so I got the spare inner tube, which is for a 26-inch wheel. I had a look into these new ones, because I used to go through inner tubes like crazy years ago, and I looked into inner tubes. There's these new slime ones. I don't know if they're new or old, but I haven't ridden a bike in like 20 years. But these slime where you can push slime into the tires, and there's quite a few videos on YouTube. But if the tire busts or explodes while you're riding it, if you're acting like a dick, basically there's going to be green shit all over the ground. It's going to look like the Incredible Hulk. Someone commented it looked like the Incredible Hulk jizzed onto the middle of the street. It's funny shit. But anyway, I got one for now. You can get these out of Halfords for about £3. Like I said, this bike cost 130. It's probably one of the... There's bikes in there for £89, but the £89 ones had aluminium and they were light, and I don't want a light bike, I want a heavier bike. And when I got on the bike for the first time today, man, it was crazy because I was wobbling a little bit, but it only took me about a minute to get my bearings and I was cool with it again. I got myself a puncture repair kit. I paid £7 for this. Sorry if it's a bit of shaking, my hands are shaking because I've been riding on the bike for so long. That's a puncture repair kit. Basically got the things for taking off the wheels, and there's quite a few things you could do with that. So that cost me £7. I could have got a bike pump for £4, but I think I paid about 15 quid for this. Dual action bike pump. Basically it's got the readings on it. It's more of it's a better pump basically. A bit more fancy, but. And then for the D-lock, I made sure I got one of these because I stopped in about 6 different places on the way home and shops, and I had to keep using this D-lock. It's a lot smaller than the one I used to have years ago. Let me just push it on there to actually see the size. That's about half the size of the one I had back in the 90s, but I think I just dropped this on the floor. You must say that. Yeah. It's a 20cm D-lock key, and you get 2 keys with it. I think I paid £20 for this out my local. I got them all out of Halfords on the same day. Yeah, so that's it. If I basically have any issues with this, I'll let you know how it's going. I might make an update video in about 4 weeks. There was a few people saying they were having problems with the gears and a lot of different things. But like you say, I mean, if you read every review of every item that's on the market and you get a couple of negative reviews, then you know, I'll be optimistic about it. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I shall hopefully see you in another video shortly.